Good morning, SMW Central. P4 here, going to be doing a tutorial today on 2 SMW hacking tricks that'll make your SMW hacking experience just a little bit easier. The first trick will show you how to access tools from any directory that you're in without having to copy and paste them everywhere. And the second trick will show you how to add ROMs to your new file dialog so you won't have to constantly keep track of your clean SMW ROM. And so the first trick we're going to show off is how to add the ability to use tools from any directory. This is pretty simple. The first thing you have to do is go down to your C drive and then just create a new file by right-clicking, going to New, and then Folder. Name it SMW Tools or whatever else that you would like. And then double-click on it to enter it. And then just drag and drop your tools straight into this directory. You can put as many tools as you'd like in here. Not every tool will work, but just experiment around, find out which tools you can and can't use in here, and those tools that you can use in here will save you a lot of effort. Alright, so now that you're done with that, just close that out, and this time go up to My Computer again, but right click and go down to Properties. Once you're in Properties, click on Advanced, go down to Environment Variables, go down to System Variables where it says Path right here, and click Edit. At the very end of the list, and you might need to scroll down for a while, but at the very end of the list, add a semicolon, C, colon, and then this backslash, and then I need you to type the exact name of the folder that you created earlier, so in my case, SMW Tools, and hit OK. Alright, so that's it. The first trick is done. To show it off a little bit and what it can do, let's go to Run here and type in CMD, and just right in this directory that we're in, which is Documents and Settings and my username, if I was to type a SAR, look at that. We can use the patch right there. Another thing you could do, let's just create some new folders real quick. New folder 1, let's go create a new folder in here even. New folder. Alright, good enough. So what you can do over here to get inside of this directory without having to copy and paste command prompt in there is if you type CD in command prompt and just drag and drop the folder there and hit enter, you're now working inside of this directory right there. So like if I was to type a SAR something.asm and smw.smc or whatever. Of course we get an error because that patch that doesn't exist in this directory, but you can see it did create a blank ROM in here that's got nothing in it because it tried to create a ROM to patch it to. But you get the point. You can use this from any directory. But actually, we can go a step further. If you were to create a new text file for a called patches.bat, yes, you want to change the extension. In here, what you can actually do is create a list of your patches and just say asar mypatch.asm myrom.smc, and you could create this huge list, and now every time you double click on it, it will apply all of your patches, and you don't even have to have a SAR in the same directory. So it works out fantastically for organizing your SMW hacking folders. Alright, so that's the entire first trick. Really handy and takes very minimal effort to set up. The second trick is a little bit harder to set up, but not too complex. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that your ROM has a file association set up with it. It could be to a hex editor, to an emulator, or to a patcher, Lunar Magic, whatever, just as long as you double click on your ROMs and they get launched in some program. Once you have that set up, what you need to do is click on Start, go to Run, type regedit. The first thing you need to do is go under HKey _classes _root, scroll down until you find .smc. It is alphabetical order, so it shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Right. Or apparently I don't have a file association set up. Do I? No, I don't. despite having an icon. Alright, so if you don't have a file association already, you can just double click on it and go unpick a random file. Let's just use Notepad because why not? Wait for it to try the load and fail. Alright, whatever, good enough. Alright, so now we need to refresh this. I guess you have to close it out to refresh it. Alright, not a big deal. Alright, where are we? Haha, now we have it. So if you don't find .smc in here, that just means you don't have a file association. Not too big of a deal. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is right click on it and go to New, Key, and type in shell new. The capitals are important, so do remember them. And then the next thing you do is once you're in shell new, right click over here, new string value, file name. And then you need to make sure that you get that capital F and that capital N right there. Double click on it, and for the value, type smw.smc. You can name this whatever your ROM will be called. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you remember what it is. The next thing that you need to do is scroll down even further and find smc underscore autofile. It again is alphabetical, so once you find the S's, you shouldn't be too far off. Right here. Okay, so all you have to do in this one is just double click on it and just name your Super Mario World ROM. Whoops. Let's finish naming that properly. There you go. Okay, you can call this whatever you like. It'll just be the description you see when you right click. So at this point we are done with the registry editor, and so you can close it out. Now if you were right click at this point and go look for it, you notice that it's not there. You have two options at this point. You can either restart your computer, or you can pull up Task Manager and close out explorer.exe right here. This will close any file or folders that you have open and will make your desktop disappear for a minute. But if you end the process, you could just go up to File, New Process, Explorer, and it'll bring it right back. And now if you right click and go over to New, you can see you have Super Mario World ROM in here. So you can name this whatever you want. And no matter what directory you're in, let's create a new folder again. You could just create new ROMs on the fly. But there's a problem. You notice that there's no size to them. How do we fix this? We got to make sure that it's our actual ROM, right? So all you have to do is go to run %user profile /templates, and this is the directory you will drag and drop your ROM into. So now try it again. Yeah, good enough. And you notice now it's the appropriate ROM. So at this point you are completely done. You can now create ROMs in any directory. You can now use tools in any directory. Two simple tricks that make hacking so much easier. And with that, thanks for watching. See you guys next time with another couple of hacking tricks.